When people define aesthetics, they're not talking about the 15% body fat guy. I hate to break it to you, but they're not. That's not the ideal when it comes to aesthetics.
So this might rustle some jimmies.
What does that mean?
Fire some people up.
What's up, guys? Jeff Cavaliere, ATHLEAN-X.com.
Jesse Lako, athlean-x.com.
I don't know if we're going to fire you up, but we're going to certainly talk truth here. We're talking about body fat percentages, and this started because of a friendly commenter who wrote in.
Yes, this is from Addison Wells 422. I watched a few videos recently where the people said that 15% body fat is the ideal body fat for men to look and feel good. This is completely in contrast to the 6% that you're at and that you recommend. The 15% seems far more realistic and feasible. Don't you think you should be recommending the same? Damn.
I wish I might have said that, but I never did.
You never said that?
I never said that. But let's get into this because I think there's a valid discussion here. We're talking about, is there an ideal body fat percentage for men? And if there is it 6% or 15%? And
right.
Being someone that is definitely at a lean level of body fat percentage, I'm not saying actually 6, but we'll talk about me later, is that something you think that I would recommend?
Right.
I think you first and foremost have to identify, because this is so important to the whole argument that anyone will make, is what is your goal? And I think we could break it down into like 3 categories, broadly.
Okay.
Aesthetics, right? The look of the leanness. Athletics,
okay.
Right? Whether you have some performance goal behind the leanness that you're trying to achieve. Strength, whether you're trying to obtain a certain level of strength. Again, the level of body fat is going to have some implication.
Now, what if you are an absolute legend like me and you're trying to achieve all 3? Wouldn't you put a 4th category together saying all the above?
The Sigma category.
The alpha and Sigma at the same time. You've ever seen the movie I Am Legend?
Maybe. I think a lot of people out there actually might be looking to achieve all 3 of those, so it's a valid point minus all of your flourish language there. So, all right, so let's talk about each. I want to start with the athletic side first because that's the part that I feel most comfortable with. When we talk about athletes, you need additional level of specificity to determine what you're talking about when we're talking about body fat. What sport do you play? Mm-hmm. A marathon runner is certainly not going to benefit from a big bulk before the big race. The same way that an offensive lineman who's 5% body fat is probably going to lose 10 out of 10 times in terms of the battle of the trenches, right? That's not going to be pretty. So the sport you play, and also, as I just said, even the position that you play could dictate higher or lower levels of body fat that are allowable or that will still allow for a certain level of performance.
So like a lineman versus a wide receiver.
Right, because this is one of those pet peeves for me where the biggest hallmark of someone that's never trained an athlete is when they make the statement that being lower than 15% body fat is going to compromise their performance as an athlete.
Right.
They've never trained an athlete. Anybody that ever says that has no experience with athletes. Certain athletes can get to that level, much lower body fat levels, not 6, but much lower body fat levels, or in some cases, like DK Metcalf, 6, and excel. And there's a reason for that, and we're going to talk about why that's so important, because that's actually dictating why you may or may not be struggling to get to a certain body fat percentage. But with DK Metcalf, he's not only walking around that level of body fat, he's excelling. He's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
He's great. You could look at other guys, there's rugby players who are incredibly athletic, right? Who have all elements of speed, strength. Certain ones are doing it at very low levels of body fat. One of our friends, Michael Chandler.
Oh, yeah.
Excelling at this. We're not just doing okay, excelling in his sport at very lean levels of body fat. Serge Ibaka, NBA player, one of the best defenders, did so at very lean levels of body fat, great levels of muscularity too. And then there's actually one that really is entertaining to me because it sort of encapsulates everything we talk about. His name is Brian Clay. He was 5'10", 180. He was 8% body fat. 2008 Olympic champion for the decathlon. If it was ever an indicator of athleticism, it's the decathlon, right? It's the ultimate athlete. But let me go even further with that. He was tested by spark testing, which is basically a measurement, a standardized test of athleticism, speed, agility, quickness, reaction. So in football, he scored 130.4, the highest ever recorded. By comparison, Reggie Bush, a damn good athlete, scored a 93.38 on the test.
Holy smokes.
He has a vertical leap of 45.3 inches, one of the highest no-step vertical jumps in NBA or NFL history. He ran the 30-yard sprint, which is basically from home to first base. Faster than Jacoby Ellsbury, one of the fastest, another Team Athlean guy, a little faster than any other major leaguer from home to first. He had higher ratings in all sports, soccer, baseball, basketball and the athletic assessment score of 145. His basketball spark rating is better than every professional basketball player, including Derrick Rose, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade.
Holy shit.
8% body fat wasn't holding him back. So we can dispel that idea that you have to be at a certain level in order to excel.
Right.
Now we talk about strength. And I think this is something that you definitely are going to want to chime in here.
That's what I like to do.
Based upon what you've been able to achieve.
Yeah.
Now there's a general notion out there that if you are too lean, your strength is going to suffer. And at higher levels of body fat, which is where a lot of the bulking, cutting recommendations come in, when people want to get stronger or add size, they should do so in a bulk so that they can have stronger lifts, add more size because of that, because of overload, and then they can worry about cutting down. I think the big flaw to this method here, and again, that might piss some people off, but it is what it is. You are not Thor Bjornsson.
Nope.
You are not Eddie Hall. You are not one of the elite level competitors in strength and powerlifting and strongman. Likely not. I'm not saying everyone out there. I'm just saying that likely you are not. And what you're doing is you're applying these standards and these generalities to your own training, a lot of times as an excuse to not actually attempt to get leaner. As a way to sort of dissociate yourself from, I don't want any of that aesthetic stuff. That's for the guys who are interested in too much in themselves. And I'm going to go more towards the performance side of it. But you've been able to do both.
Yeah. I've been able to stay pretty lean and also work on my strength to be pretty good, if I do say so myself.
So Jesse, as you can see in these clips here, now a 550-pound deadlifter,
Yep.
squatter over 400 pounds.
Yep.
Things that people said, first of all, he could never achieve. Secondly, saying that he certainly couldn't do it and remain lean.
Yeah.
All right. And then when we talk about the aesthetic part of this, first of all, aesthetics are incredibly subjective. Right? What you think looks good may not look good to somebody else, and vice versa. Someone might see Jeff Cavaliere level of leanness and say, wow, that looks great. And some might say, oh my God, that looks disgusting. And we get it every day. We hear it all the time. Now, take that out of the equation. What you need to realize is that finding your set point for your body composition is incredibly important. And guess what? The variability of set point is probably where some of these arguments come from, where 15% is superior and 6% is unobtainable. And well, guess what? Let's talk about 6%. I said it in the very beginning. Just because I'm at a lean level of body fat, and I don't know if it's 6 or 6.5 or 7.1, I don't know. It's down there though. Just because I have that doesn't mean that I recommend that for everybody, because all of the benefits that people want to get from being lean, they can achieve at higher body fat percentages than 6. Let's settle at 10.
Yeah.
10 is an area that you can get all the definition that you want, all the aesthetic benefits, and still have performance capabilities without sacrificing your quality of your life.
Right.
Now, I will tell you this to dispel another myth that sometimes pisses me off when I hear it. Just because you're ultra lean, I know some people out there in the comments are going to want to speak up on this too. Just because you're ultra lean does not mean that you're doomed to a life of suckiness, right? Every single day of my life, I walk around at this low level of body fat. Not once do I suffer from decreased energy. Not once do I suffer from decreased libido. Not once do I suffer from a lack of clarity. Not once do I suffer from my ability to perform in the gym. None of that. And I don't take drugs, never took one in my entire life. Nothing aids me in my ability to stay lean. The only thing that's aided me in my ability to stay lean is just consistency for now 25 to 30 years. A long-term consistency in eating a proper way that makes me feel good. I like being at this level. It feels good to me. You know why? Because I have a set point that allows for it. A lot of people watching won't have that set point. If you want to use 6% as the level, how about this? I would estimate that 40% of the people that tried to achieve a 6% body fat level could never get there.
Okay.
Physiologically could never get there.
Their body just won't allow it.
No, even if they follow starvation diets, whatever, their body's going to physiologically give them the feedback that disallows their pursuit to continue towards that number.
Okay.
And you might have experienced this yourself. And a lot of times people like to wrap this up in kind of talking about body types, endomorphs and ectomorphs. I don't like to get into that. But there is a little bit of valid reasoning behind the genetic component of this. And the genetic component being that someone with a faster metabolism genetically has the ability to eat more and process foods better and maintain higher energy levels because their set point allows for it. Two people, I'm sure you've experienced, could eat the same thing and not look the same.
Yeah.
They could eat the same number of calories and not look the same for a variety of factors, a lot of different factors, but simply because their set point for body fat and body composition is different. If you are trying to get down to that level and your body is rejecting you along the way to the point where your energy does crash, or your testosterone levels do crash, or your libido does crash, there's so many signs and symptoms that say, this ain't for me, and you turn around and go back.
Yeah.
But in order to give it a fair assessment, you can't be trying to do this overnight. I didn't do this overnight. I didn't obtain my level of leanness overnight. It's been years and years, just slowly but surely and consistently. So what I would recommend is that you actually give this a try the real way. Adopt a healthier eating lifestyle, better sleep, better recovery, less drinking. If that's a problem for you right now, calorically, you're probably putting yourself behind the 8 ball if you're drinking, because it's too easy to drink your calories and keep yourself out of a caloric deficit. So whatever you have to do to adopt a healthier lifestyle, give yourself the chance to explore lower levels of body fat before you just say, hey, it's not for me. Because saying that it's not feasible, don't confuse that with it's not something I feel like doing.
Or it's not easy.
It's not easy, right?
Yeah.
Don't look for the easier way out. If you desire to have the aesthetic component to lower body fat levels, then attempt to do it and you'll see what your body does. Certain people will find that they do reject it and they have to go backwards and turn around. And what you do is you just simply work yourself back up until you find a body fat level that's the lowest that you can actually live with and enjoy, but still give you the aesthetic benefits that you're pursuing.
Yeah.
If you were to raise that number to 10% body fat instead of 6, I think that instead of 40% of people not being able to get there, you're looking at like 10% of people that can't get there.
Yeah.
Maybe only 10% of people have that set point that even resides a little bit higher than that. Maybe it's 12%. They just can't stubbornly get past that 12, right? No matter what they do, no matter how clean their diet is, they can't get there. Here's the other number. The 6%, I think there's maybe only 5% of people that can maintain that. And that's huge, right? Because if only 5% of people can maintain it, then what's it worth to you? If you can't get there but sustain it, it's not for you.
Yeah.
If there's a diet that you're using right now that gets you here, but you can't sustain it because you hate eating that way, what's it worth to you? What are we doing here? What is the idea? What is the objective? Is it a quality of life? Or are we trying to improve ourselves in the gym for an overall quality of life, or just to look a certain way? And I think the reality is I try to preach that, yes, looking a certain way is important, but feeling good to support it is even more important.
Yeah.
And being able to perform like an athlete in whatever endeavors you want is incredibly important.
And staying healthy in the process.
And staying healthy in the process, not having to do things to get yourself there, but jeopardize your health in the process, which is what I think a lot of people are doing right now, which is horrible. Regardless of where you sit on the fence of 15 or 6, clearly I don't sit at either end of the spectrum. I think there are some undeniable facts and truths when it comes to being lean. And I just want to make sure everybody's clear on this. This is the part that could offend some people too. Number one, can we all stop using words to describe the level of leanness?
Like ripped and peeled?
Ripped and peeled. Can we come up with some more? Diced.
Shredded.
Cut. What else?
Lean.
Lean, I think we already said.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you were to ask me, I would look at it like this. Whatever the body fat level, this is high, this is low, right?
Yeah.
Lean. Ripped.
Okay.
Shredded.
Yep.
Diced.
All the way at the bottom?
All the way to the bottom.
Like Helmut Strubel?
Yeah, like him, like this guy. Would you say the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
But other people's words may be different. Why are we talking in words? Because it's so subjective. Why don't we talk in objectivity by just talking about actual body fat percentages? And again, 6% is not something that I think would be recommended to anybody, especially because the majority of people will never, ever be able to either obtain it or maintain it.
Yeah.
But being 15%, I mean, again, here comes undeniable fact number 2. Being at a lower level of body fat is always going to allow you to look bigger and more muscular than you are, period. When an actor comes to work with me, the first thing they want to do to get in shape for a role, you got to get a little leaner. Because being a little bit leaner is going to make the muscularity they have look better.
Well, so it makes the muscles start to pop and define more.
Exactly. Even somebody like Bruce Lee, who didn't carry a whole hell of a lot of muscle, but is known as a fitness icon, somebody that I look up to incredibly, right? Throughout all the years, I feel like Bruce Lee is an icon in fitness. Yeah. He wasn't a very muscular guy, but his level of leanness made the muscle he had, that sinewy, ripped muscle, I just used that word, look really impressive.
Yeah.
Right? Because the leaner he is, the more impressive it's going to be. So in your pursuit of aesthetics, just understand that at that very one point, 10% is going to look more impressive than 15% from an aesthetic standpoint. And when people define aesthetics, when they talk about a six-pack, they're talking about obliques and gills, and we're talking about definition in your shoulders, in between the heads of your shoulders and delts, they're talking about someone who's at 10% body fat or so. They're not talking about the 15% body fat guy. I hate to break it to you, but they're not. That's not the ideal when it comes to aesthetics. Is it something that could be subjectively something you prefer? 100%. Like I said, you may not like this, but when you're talking about the social image of what a ripped person is, it's going to be something that looks more like 10 than it does 15. You just have to understand that whatever pursuit you're following here, as I said, it's undeniable that you're going to have to put in effort to get there. It's not easy. If it was easy, every single person would walk around being whatever it is we're trying to get to. It's not. And if you're trying to be extra strong, and you're trying to be an elite level strongman, right, or powerlifter, you have to put in a lot of effort to get there too. No matter what the goal, it's not limited to just aesthetics here and being ripped. No matter what the goal is, you have to put in the work. But I'm kind of a little bit tired of hearing that there's one body fat percentage that works for everybody and this is what you should be. I kind of feel like it's a cop-out. And I also feel like it completely disregards the fact that science has shown us that there literally is a set point that varies from person to person that will allow you to have an easier or harder time getting to and maintaining a level of body fat. And for me, if you're going to do it right, get there and maintain it comfortably without compromising the other aspects of your life. So I hope that answered his question, and maybe he feels a little bit less convinced that his position is right.
And that the 6% is what you're recommending to everybody.
Well, clearly not. Clearly not. Again, I'd rather see you be consistently at something that you can achieve and do so healthily. So guys, if you found the video helpful, make sure you leave your comments and thumbs up below. Ask your question. Even if it's a little bit critical, ask your question. It might be featured in the next Ask Jeff video. If you're looking for a program, guys, we have them all over at athlean-x.com. Make sure you click subscribe, turn your notifications so you never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you back here again in just a few days. See ya.